Hey everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome back to yet another video. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit different from what I normally do, as I typically don't follow the rumour mill, as it's kind of a cesspool. But today I'm going to make an exception for that rule and talk about something that has caught my attention and something that has most definitely piqued my interest. Now, just before we get right into things, I do want to point this out. This is more of a rumour discussion than anything else. So nothing I say here is official and nothing is confirmed and set in stone. For the most part, this is all hearsay, so please do take this with the lightest pinch of salt possible, as I don't wish to set up your expectations only for you to fall short. Now, in case you didn't really catch the news recently, allow me to elaborate on said rumour. On the 27th April 2021, we got a rather big leak from a reliable informant by the name of Daniel Richmond. Now, it was Daniel that dropped some huge news via his Patreon that supposedly NetherRealm Studios had concluded their work on Mortal Kombat 11 and wasn't working on another Injustice Instalment, but in fact a brand new Marvel fighting game, something that Ed Boon of course alluded to 2 years ago in an interview with Game Informer, where he did confirm that at some point he was in talks with Marvel for a fighting game, but was unable to elaborate on what exactly this was about, meaning very well that this could have in fact been on the table for a very long time, and that it's only till now where it's actually gonna happen. But realistically, will it? Well, typically the NetherRealm cycle is a new game every 2 years. This started with the reboot of the franchise of Mortal Kombat 9 and has alternated with the Elseworld DC fighting game Injustice. It's only up until recently where that cycle has in fact been broken, as last year we were expecting to see a tease for NetherRealm's next big game and supposed release this April, but from what you can tell, that clearly hasn't been the case. Instead, we got the release of Combat Pack 2, which tied together the final characters of the game, and finally the Ultimate Edition itself. Now, Combat Pack 2's creation could have been done for a multitude of different reasons. One, and the most realistic one, is that they naturally wanted to tie into next gen, as the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X was released in the late quarter of 2020, and another reason why this could have been done was of course due to the world being caught in the clutches of the C virus, in turn delaying and preventing a number of different games from releasing. Now, this could indeed actually be the main reason as to why NetherRealm's cycle was broken. But the big question now is, will this Marvel fighting game be possible? Of course, NetherRealm Studios is owned by Warner Brothers, a company that owns the DC brand that really is in competition with Disney, who of course does own the Marvel license. So on paper, it seems like something that would be near impossible due to their conflicting interests and, well, them being in competition with each other. But I'm quite happy to say here that a collaboration between both sides is in fact indeed possible. This has actually been done quite a fair few times in the form of the LEGO game series, as Warner does actually use the rights given to them by Disney to publish their Marvel LEGO game series. So it is 110% possible for this to happen, as long as a deal can be made between both sides, with the ownerships and rights of characters of course going all the way back to Disney now. NetherRealm could 110% make a Marvel fighting game. This in turn could in fact lead to a possible versus series, where the heroes and villains of the DC universe clash against Marvel's main lineup. Now, in my opinion, I actually can see this happening, and the reason why I'm actually saying this is because we are in the age of superhero movies, and honestly, it couldn't be a better time to be a comic book fan or someone who enjoys either of the brands. This would be a fantastic crossover series for both sides. You see, the DC universe, whilst having a shaky start, has now finally been able to restore some fan faith through the form of the Snyder Cut. It did extremely well on HBO Max and has somewhat rekindled that lost fire following the release of the Joss Whedon Justice League cut. And if we're talking about the Marvel side of things, Marvel for years now has been dominating the movie front, going from strength to strength with its cinematic universe, which looks like it will only get better over the course of time. And whilst many had doubted that Marvel would be able to pick itself up after Phase 3, culminating in the Infinity War saga, so far Marvel has released WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is going to show that whilst they may not be releasing mainline installment film, they can still maintain a good form of quality that will only get better over time, as Loki is still yet to be released as of making this video. So honestly, to me, as a fan of both sides, I think it would be really healthy to actually collaborate together and make something for fans that both sides can appreciate and enjoy. In my opinion, both of these sides are sitting on a gold mine. They just need to act on it. Realistically, I think this is super good for both sides and us as fans. Because if we actually look at it, outside of the Spider-Man games, Marvel hasn't been doing too great on the gaming front. A few years back, of course, we did have the release of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, a game that still to this day is understandably seen as an eyesore, and of course the release of the AAA title Square Enix Avengers game, something that received a lukewarm reception, and from then on has only really received shoulder shrugs from its fan base. At this point in time, I don't believe they have any other games announced in development, so something like this would look really good on the Marvel gaming front. Now on the DC side of things, they have been handling themselves very well over the last decade. Of course, the Arkham game series really did set the bar for superhero games, and the Injustice series sparked a lot of love in the FGC by blending aspects and mechanics from the Mortal Kombat series into a DC fighter. DC, as of making this video, are still going very strong, having Gotham Knights in the pipeline as well as their Suicide Squad game in development. So the DC brand is looking bright in that department, and honestly a collaboration of sorts would be something special and allow for many dream matchups. We actually haven't had a crossover between either brand since 2004, so you would think it would only be a matter of time till the two sides once again clash against each other, as there naturally has always been a friendly rivalry and competition between both sides. Now, realistically, we are past the 2-year anniversary of Mortal Kombat 11's release, with 3 DLC packs, 1 story expansion, and the last patch for Mortal Kombat 11 being released in January. We are definitely in the end game now, and with E3 around the corner and DC fandom having been announced, things are looking really good if you are a comic book fan right now. We also do know that currently NetherRealm are working on something, but we simply do not know what that is. So only time will tell if we actually get a crossover, or another installment in the Injustice series, or something completely new like a Marvel fighting game. So I don't know what to expect here, but the future definitely does seem bright for NetherRealm in that sense. But for now, this has basically covered everything we know about the possibility of NetherRealm making a Marvel fighting game. I do hope you have enjoyed this video and it has given you some insight on what may come next and the possibility of this game existing, because it can indeed happen since Disney and Warner do work together for their LEGO games. Honestly, for me, this would be a childhood dream come true. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually in fact a massive comic book fan. Growing up, I didn't have any consoles, and thus my entertainment actually came in the form of comics. Marvel more specifically than DC. Growing up, I was raised on the stories of Civil War, Secret Invasion, Dark Reign, and Siege, and it actually helped pique my love for narrative-driven stories and, well, lore. So when I heard this rumor, I naturally couldn't help but be very excited for it. It's a mixture and amalgamations of things I loved as a teenager into a fully grown adult. So to me, this would be very special and a dream come true. If you got any stories like this, please do share them down in the comments below, as comics were really a stepping stone for me in my youth. So it would make me really happy to see things kind of come full circle. But yeah, until then guys, that has been it for me. I will keep you up to date with all of this Marvel fighting game stuff, so please do keep an eye out for that, because naturally from what you can tell, I'm very excited if this is true. Now, what are your thoughts about this, guys? Do you think it's gonna happen? And if so, who would you love to see on the roster? Please do comment down below. But until then guys, that has been it for me. So if possible guys, let's try getting this video to about 500 likes, and please do not forget to tick that bell, as it will keep you up to date with all of my content coming out from here on out. So now guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.